Hey guys, what's up? Angry with another Diablo 4 video, and today I want to give you the summary of the Campfire Chat for the arriving Season 9 Horadrim season, and I will also post my feedback of the season, what I'm thinking about the Season 9 on the end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned to the video. So yeah, you will get my honest opinion about Season 9 and why I'm kind of disappointed and Blizzard didn't tackle any of the problem. So yeah, let's gonna start with the first part and the state of the game. So in summary, Blizzard wants to promote more endgame activity variety. That's kind of good in general. There will be more opportunities to create big reward moments. That is the most problem that Diablo 4 right now has. You don't have any dopamine like in Last Epoch, Diablo 2 or PoE 2 when you find some really rare uniques and some really rare gear. And Season 9 will include more permanent improvements, and with the exception of a few outliers, Blizzard is happy with the current class build diversity, and that's the biggest problem. So we got like the same meta build for 3 seasons now. Yeah, this is one of the outliers, but still, even for the Spiritborn or the Druid, basically 80% of the builds doesn't exist. So it's like for Spiritborn, most of the builds got dependent on the Naxxus Resonance, which is completely dead now. So yeah, that's the problem. And I'm just kind of a bit confused that Blizzard doesn't know how the class balance works right now in the game. Then the new permanent features, it's the Sins of the Horadrim. They are like the boss powers and the Season 2 powers and the Season 7 witchcraft powers. We're gonna get like Horadric spells, and we're also gonna get nightmare fix updates, the strong rooms, escalating nightmares, and Azeroth. So Azeroth will get revamped into the game for permanent content. So first of all, we're gonna have the Horadric Strong rooms, and they are kind of a reskin from the Gauntlet that was in the game for like leaderboard reasons, but then they just started it with the add-on, and now they're reintroducing it with Horadric Strong rooms, where you can just modify your rooms and with killing some boss mobs to also modify your rewards. This will be a good new addition to the game. Escalating Nightmares will also allow players to take on 3 nightmare dungeons back to back with increasing difficulty, culminating in a boss fight. So that's, like I said, the Azeroth with the end boss fight. I hope for like an arena where we just, like in the Infernal Hordes, we're just gonna grind endlessly nightmare dungeons until we cannot stop, but it's just kept on 3 dungeons, then the Azeroth boss. The final boss of Escalating Nightmare will be the Demon Azeroth. So this was the boss from, I think, the Druid questline and from the storyline. So it is excluded from the boss layer. At least this is a good thing, so we don't need to farm some boss mods. Question is, what does Azeroth drops? Does it only drops the new unique? So basically with one class you only have one new item to get. Yeah, don't know which things we farm, and that's a problem. Also, we didn't get any updates to the loot chase and no new shiny uniques or no new. That would have been perfectly for the Azeroth. So now the Horadric spells, players will be able to craft their own custom spells. Ranking up the spell category list will increase the spell powers and reduce its cooldown. As I said, they're like the Season 8 boss powers, and you have like infusions where you can just infuse the power. So they're now kind of a bit different. They're now basically a fire spell or a cold spell. So yeah, they're modifying it a bit. And also we're gonna get like add 3 arcana to each of our custom spells, and now they're doing some other things. So now we gonna get unstoppable with it, or the effect of the catalyst will be increased and such things. So yeah, we can play around with this, and maybe there will be some potential new builds around with this. And also, yeah, we're gonna get the Horadric Jewels. Even I think some effects are basically the same like in Season 7, so that's even more horrific. So now the class balance updates, and that's the thing I'm the most irritated on, because they basically said we only get 1 unique for each class and we won't get a new legendary for each class, because they rebalance like most of our legendaries for all the classes. And that was the part where I was really excited, because most of the legendaries, especially for Druid and for Spiritborn, are just dead and you don't even play them, and yeah, don't get excited when you get them. And then I looked through the patch notes, and they're basically buffing only 4 or 5 aspects. I think for Spiritborn it is even buff only 1 aspect. So yeah, I'm really disappointed with the nodes, and I will go through the balance updates of the Druid and the Spiritborn in most, because I don't play the other classes. In general, overpower is now really gutted. Overpower mechanic will be nerfed by about 80%, so the best build around won't be overpower any longer. Also, additive damage will be rebalanced overall. Basic skill damage will be doubled or tripled or on average. That's kind of at least good. So maybe like Stormclaw build for Druid is viable again. The maximum resistance cap will be increased to 75%, okay. And key passive will be rebalanced, bring the average to a 75% damage increase. And it's like with Noxus Resonance now for Spiritborn, it was a really cool effect to just build up your crit strike damage and then get a huge blowout of your poison damage. And it's basically now completely changed. We will jump to the part of the Druid. Cataclysm and its modifiers will be nerfed to bring up other builds. So basically the Cataclysm, the Mirror build. So the Mirror ring will get nerfed from 100% to 40%, I think. Grizzly Rage got some good updates, so we will be now perma unstoppable. So for the aspect of Rapid Beer, previously you will just apply your rabies when you crit it, but now while Grizzly Rage is active, your direct damage is converted into poison damage. That's a really cool build style now, because you can scale up now your direct damage and do poison damage now. And yeah, that's basically one and the only change to our aspects. And yeah, there are many other aspects for Crystal Rage that are still bad, and that's the thing I mean. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 legendary reworks, and it's not like the unique base for Druid is, I don't know what to say, but I don't know what person is the lead dev of Druid, because he has no clue of the Druid. He needs to play some Druid in Diablo 4, because that's a weapon that is even worse than the Basilisk, and the Basilisk is already one of the newly introduced units from like Season 5 that is also really bad, but this just is dead on arrival, because every 10 seconds just is already in the text. Every 10 seconds we're going to do some poison damage. It's just so long for 10 seconds. So yeah, and for Pulverize, why not just go for the werewolf poison style and not werewolf? Werewolf was never with poison. It was always the werewolf with poison, and the werewolf more the earth style. The Rotting Lightbringer, it's just completely crap, let's be honest, because the problem is we don't have any proper way to scale our damage with the Druid with poison. Yeah, we're gonna have the Grizzly Rage now with direct poison damage, but it's not enough. And on top of that, we're gonna got some nice basic skill buffs, so that's good. Also the Force of Nature, like we're just gonna have like Pulverize change, no change about rabies, no change about anything other, and also some Toxic Law, some basic buffs. But honestly, let's be honest, that some kind of changes that you're expecting for a mid-season update. I mean, like compared with PE2, they're bringing out a mid-season update in like next week that has more content, or basically same content like all of the balance changes. So yeah, and now let's go and talk about the Spiritborn. So first of all, the deflection aspect will create multiplicative damage for Razor Wings. Well, yeah, but no. Problem of Razor Wing still didn't get tackled. So I played a lot of Razor Wing. I played Razor Wing basically every season, Season 6, Season 7, and also Season 8. And the problem for Razor Wings is just the heavy cooldown, that you need items like the Hurricane's Crest in order that it is viable, and it's still just so bad. It didn't get a major buff, so Razor Wings will still be bad, and it will be even more bad because Noxus Resonance got gutted, and it was like the best way to play Razor Wings in Season 6 and in Season 8. with the poison style, but it is now not viable any longer. So yeah, the entire whole ultimate reset will be reworked. Yeah, and we're gonna get poison thoughts, and we're gonna get a new hands. I don't know. Each attack damages close enemies for 300% of your thorns, and also deals 100% of this damage as poison over 3 seconds. Each time you retaliated with thorns for 5 seconds, the poison damage is increased by 100% up to 300%. I thought Spiritborn will get some love because Spiritborn is by far the worst form in class right now, and it is basically only one build. We got some basic skill damage increase. Also, Exalted Hunter, Clan Wild Hunter's Prison reduces this cooldown by 5 seconds. Single Boss reduces its cooldown by 1 second. We can still kinda lower the cooldown with like some uniques of it. And the worst one will be Nox Resonance. It will just deal 180% of the total poison instantly to them and 20% of the burst to surrounding enemies before removing the poisoning effect from the primary target. It doesn't really scale with critical strikes any longer, so it is just dead. Let's be honest. Nox Resonance was such a cool passive, and it was kinda the thing that I liked the most about Spiritborn. I'm really mad, let's be honest, about the patch and the Spiritborn changes nourishment. It's good now, and yeah. And other than that, other than Spiritborn, we get some system updates. So elites and boss granting seasonal reputation that will be now also in the Season 9, so that's at least nice. So we're gonna get a seasonal currency with the lair hordes. So yeah, so we can still farm bosses to get our seasonal reputation grind. And for the 9-man dungeon sigils, players will now be able to teleport to a 9-man dungeon from the inside of another 9-man dungeon. Cool, a 9-man dungeon sigil will include additional positive affixes, and also in additional lower world tiers will now reward better loot. So we're gonna get better loot with lower torment levels, and we're also gonna get more ancestral drop chance the higher torment we're playing. So we're gonna have a higher chance to get ancestral items when you're gonna play on Torment 4. Also, we're gonna get a huge legendary rune buff drop, because yeah, the legendary rune drop chance were really abysmal and you didn't find any of it, so it got buffed now. It is good, and several whisper caches have been buffed. So yeah, as you can see, overall increase of legendary rune drop, and also tribute of harmony increase dropped. All in undercity tribute now drop a rune, and yeah, it got buffed across the board. There will be tweaks to tempering and master working. Well, it's even wrongly worded, and master working, but there's nothing to announce today, so basically they didn't did anything with it. And master working costs will get lowered, and they have no plans to include whispers and messages. Also would be a nice quality of life buff, and there will be no more balance in Season 8. Well, there was kind of small balance in Season 8, and they deleted my build. That was the reason why I quitted Season 8. Let's be honest, I was kind of hopeful for Season 9 because it sounded like cool with the Horadric style. Maybe they will introduce back the Horadric cube or something, but it just is so plain boring and just same copy of the old seasons. And on top of that, we don't get really much new content. As you can see in Last Epoch, like the new League in Last Epoch, it got so much new stuff that got added. And also with new PoE2 patch, like every mid-season PoE2 patch is like adding the same stuff as like Diablo 4. I mean, the PoE2 patch that will arrive in 1 week adds like 22 new runes, adds more unique tweaks to unique drop chances, buffing the chase unique. So basically, yeah, introducing more things with a smaller studio than Blizzard, and I don't know what they're working on for 3 months. There's some minor buff or balance changes for me, because I want to have major rebalancing of some class or some builds on new seasons, and we didn't get any of that. So I'm really disappointed. Also with the 9-man dungeon escalation, I thought about maybe some cool infinite dungeon crawling with maybe some updates, so you can update your chow for some new powers and such things. That would be cool, but not just 3 9-man dungeons in a row, then fighting against a boss that will be May, 100% a pushover, and yeah, nothing really cool new. So I'm really disappointed with the Season 9, and maybe will play. So I will play Season 9 PTR. I will also do some updated guides on it, and I'm not sure if I'm currently playing the Season 9 because it will mostly drop with the new PoE patch, which I will definitely play. So yeah, but just write down your opinions on the patch in the comments down below, and I still hope you like kind of my negative video, but yeah, I'm just feeling right and negative about Diablo 4 right now. I had just some hope with the Varshan build, and yeah, it's completely all gone now. And if you liked the video, please leave a like and a sub, would boost my channel tremendously. And until the next video, bye.